Chapter 1 I'm going to kill you, Taylor, Craig yelled at his brother after he hung up the phone. Why the hell would you tell your teacher this? Now I have to go to a therapy group. I'm sorry. Taylor shrugged his shoulders. I needed an excuse for why I was failing, or they would have kicked me off the lacrosse team. Since I blamed it on you not being able to watch me based on your issue, they let it slide and adjusted my grade, as long as you address your addiction right away. This is nuts. Craig screamed. People will think I really have an addiction, and what the hell did you tell them I have? That's the thing. The school can't disclose anything to anyone, and they can't ask you if it's like drugs or alcohol or whatever. Taylor grinned. It's no big deal. One session, I think, they sign a form, and you're out of there. Mike did it to his father and it worked. Yeah, and you skate off free and clear when you should be studying, and I look like white trash, said Craig, annoyed. You're like a lying machine, and now I'm an addict. How long do you think all this can last? As long as I need it to get out of this grade, said Taylor, patting his brother. Relax, Memorial Day weekend starts tomorrow and then it's almost summer. Just do this tonight. I'll drop the form off at school tomorrow and it's over. They're letting us out after half a day tomorrow before the weekend, so I doubt that'll have time to ask a question about it. My teacher's heading to the beach right after school, so she'll stamp it, file it away, and it'll be over. Guaranteed she'll be more worried about her tan than your addiction. We'll talk more about it later after I do this crap for you. Get your gear and I'll drop you at practice, but you'll need to walk over and meet me after practice at this stupid therapy session. Craig shook his head. It's only 2 blocks away and don't be late, because I plan on getting out of there as soon as possible. No problem, big bro, said Taylor, laughing as he turned away. Thanks. No, it is a problem, but you're lucky I'm doing this for you. You little shit, said Craig, messing his brother's wild hair. Last time though. I can't keep living these lies for you, and get a freaking haircut already. You're looking like you're in a band. You mean super cool, bro, said Taylor. Only the idiot football players have buzzed heads. Lacrosse kids are rad. Craig drove his brother to practice, dropping him off, and then reluctantly headed to the therapy session. Hi, Craig Landis, said Craig. I'm here for the 7 p.m. group session. Yes, sign this form and then go right in, Mr. Landis, and take a seat, said the receptionist, checking him off. He felt so embarrassed as he signed off on all the documents and walked in, nervously sitting with a large group in a half circle as the therapist came in and sat facing them. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our group, said the therapist. I'm Dr. Elliott. Good evening, doctor, said most of the patients. So we'll go around the room and I'd like everyone to state just their first name and what they're here for, said Dr. Elliott. Everything in this session is voluntary, so feel no pressure and don't be ashamed. We're all here to support each other. Let's start all the way on the left. Craig sat there trying to figure out now what he was going to say until his turn came, as alcoholics, drug addicts, and smokers each began telling their short stories about themselves. Hi, I'm CR, started Craig, before a woman stormed in, sitting next to him. Everyone stopped and stared as the mid-20s gorgeous blonde sat next to him trying to get herself situated. She was in tight jeans, spiky ankle boots and a satin red tunic showing off her amazing bust figure. She lifted off her large sunglasses, revealing her perfectly made-up complexion with thick lashes and natural glossed lips. Her wrists were filled with gold bracelets, and large hoop earrings peeked out from her pin-straight side-parted hair, jingling as she got comfortable. I'm so sorry I'm late, said the girl, dropping her purse and sitting. My daughter's sitter didn't show and I had to leave her with a friend that I finally got a hold of. Oh, it was a disaster. I'm so sorry. I'm Carissa. It's okay, Carissa, said Dr. Elliot. We're all here to support each other. So I'll just recap. Just tell everyone why you're here and we'll all get to know you better. Okay, cool, said Carissa, flipping her wrist. Okay, well, hi again, I'm Carissa. I'm a mother of an 8-year-old girl that I had when I was only 16. It's taken me years to come to therapy, as it's been tough being a single mom, but I'm finally ready to make changes in my life. It's been a long time and I'm so embarrassed, but I'm a sex addict. I've battled it for years, but I've abstained for a few years now and I'm afraid to start again. I'm here to get help to have a healthy sex life again, now that my daughter's a little older. Hopefully you can help me so I can enjoy sex again, and not just crave it 24/7. That's wonderful you're getting that out, Carissa. I can see how difficult that must have been on you, said Dr. Elliot, taking notes. Of course we'll help you with that. Next. Oh me, said Craig. I'm Craig and I'm kind of new to this. I don't have a lot to say and I'm kind of shy. I've raised Taylor by myself since our parents passed away 5 years ago. Basically, I'm a guardian, and quickly went from big brother to single parent. As for my addiction, I've got what she has. It's nothing to be ashamed about, Craig, said Dr. Elliot softly. We're all here to help you, and that's a lot of pressure raising a child at your age. We commend you. Next, please. Craig felt so weird sitting there now as everyone was spilling their guts as he sat there listening. I think someone's letting you know they're here, said Carissa, tapping Craig's shoulder. As they were almost finished, he looked up, seeing Taylor in the doorway waving to let him know he was there. Oh, yeah, said Craig, gesturing for Taylor to go sit in the waiting area. That's my Taylor. The kid's trouble. I doubt that. Taylor looks adorable, said Carissa, smiling as Dr. Elliot wrapped up the session. Really, you can tell that with all that equipment on him, looking all sweaty after practice, said Craig, forcing himself to not stare at her breasts, looking into her eyes. Adorable wasn't one of the words I was thinking. Oh please, said Carissa, flicking her wrist. But that must be a lot of work brushing out all that sweaty hair once that helmet comes off. I bet you go through a lot of conditioner. We do, and I'm always yelling at Taylor to cut that raggy mop, said Craig as they stood up. But what can you do? It's the in thing, I guess. Yeah, but you can't let it get too long when they're this young, or it's such a disaster to work with. Plus, they're no help, said Carissa. Taylor looks about the same age as my Kaylee. She's 8, going on 9. Oh, Taylor's 9 too, but acts about 5, teased Craig as they shared a laugh as they began to head outside walking together. Oh, stop. I'm sure with a role model like you, Taylor's very mature and well-mannered, said Carissa, stopping and looking him straight in the face. I admire you coming out with all your issues here in therapy. Obviously, I know how hard it is, and these things are so tough to talk about and even tougher to deal with. I really have had no one to share with, so I'm so glad we met. Me too, said Craig, barely able to make eye contact. I kind of barely knew I had all this sexual stuff bottled up, and maybe with the right support it can all come out. Hey, how about we plan a play date? I'm not sure if this therapy thing is for me, but at least that would allow us to spend time together and maybe our kids can be friends, said Carissa, feeling nervous, twisting her hair as she spoke and broke eye contact. I'm sorry, stop me if I'm being too pushy. This was so tough coming here tonight. You kidding? That would be awesome, replied Craig, feeling his heart pounding. I would love that. I mean, I'm sure Taylor would too. I'm so excited about that, said Carissa, feeling relieved and hugged Craig tightly as instantly he was getting aroused. Just maybe let me plan just something for the girls at least the first time, as my daughter isn't great at making friends, but that's my fault. My daughter's not really the sports type, but maybe your daughter could show her some things eventually. My daughter? Said Craig. You mean Taylor, right? Sorry, I mean little sister. I almost forgot, as you seem so natural at this. I mean, I want her to get more active and maybe do some sports, but it won't be easy as she's not that coordinated, Carissa explained as she touched his bicep. Maybe she will get more comfortable though with Taylor. At first, let's just stick to regular girly stuff, and we'll take it from there. You cool with that? Carissa, Craig started to explain. Don't worry, Carissa stopped him from speaking. I'm really good with girls and activities. You don't have to do anything. You just show up and I'll handle the rest. I know it has to be so hard for a guy your age. I promise I'll do everything. Carissa, Craig started to speak again. I'm sorry, said Carissa, interrupting again and getting up to walk away. If you're not cool with it, I understand. I know we just met and I get a little aggressive at times. I'm sorry. It's so easy to get emotional after these sessions and we just don't have many friends. Stop. Why wouldn't I be, said Craig, grasping her arm to stop her from walking away. A play date sounds wonderful. Text me your number. It'll be great. I'm so happy, and so will Kaylee. Come on, walk with me outside. Is tomorrow good? The kids all get out early before the long weekend, so maybe we could have an early dinner and then have a Friday night out with them? Sure, said Craig, looking down at her perfect long nails, texting him as they stopped in the hallway. That works for me. I'm so excited, said Carissa, before kissing his cheek and looking over at Taylor sitting on a bench in his full lacrosse gear. Oh shit, I have to run and get Kaylee. See you tomorrow. Bye, Taylor. Carissa gave a dainty wave and quickly ran off as Craig stood there shaking, not believing he'd be seeing one of the hottest girls he ever laid eyes on tomorrow. What was that about? Asked Taylor, getting up and coming over. I'm not sure yet, but we'll be seeing her again soon, said Craig, looking at her text. I guess you'll be thanking me for hooking you up with this session then, said Taylor. Yeah, I guess you could say that, said Craig. It is all of your doing. They headed home, grabbing a pizza and going their separate ways to their rooms. Craig received a few text messages from Carissa and then they spent the evening chatting on the phone with each other. The next day Craig was waiting for Taylor the minute he wandered in from school. How was practice? Said Craig. Ready for the big game tomorrow. Fine, yeah, I'm ready to win tomorrow, said Taylor, flopping on the couch. Big day today. Get your lazy butt up. Craig tossed him some towels. Take a shower and have a snack when you get out. Just wash and condition that greasy mess on your head. We'll be heading out to dinner with Carissa soon. With that hot chick from last night? Asked Taylor, shocked. Damn, I did hook you up, bro. She'll be Ms. Caputo to you, and we'll be spending some time with her and her daughter this evening, said Craig. Go clean yourself up. Taylor came out of the shower and then sat down, having a snack. I'll lay out your clothes on my bed after I iron them, said Craig. Meet me in there in 5 minutes, and after all you've put me through, you better not give me a hard time. You owe me big time, Taylor. Come on, whined Taylor. I hate getting dressed up on weekends, and why do I have to go? It's Friday night and I just want to veg and chill. Just go out with her yourself. You're going because I said so, and you're 9, said Craig. Her daughter better not be annoying, grumbled Taylor. I hate girls. After 5 minutes, Taylor wandered into his brother's bedroom, seeing him ironing. Strip all the way down and try on the new underwear first, said Craig. Let's see how the underwear and jeans fit first, but we may have to make some adjustments, because I'm pretty sure you'll show. White jeans? Cried Taylor. No way, and they look too skinny. Iron my regular jeans if you're getting so picky. No shot, my little Taylor, said Craig, pushing his finger through a package and pulling out some underwear. You're about to try a new look. Very funny, said Taylor, catching the white underwear after Craig tossed them right off his face. These are panties, moron. Bingo, said Craig. Put them on and do it immediately. Are you insane? Said Taylor, getting infuriated. No, just an addict according to my signed-off documents. Let alone the pack of lies I've had to deal with this year, said Craig, holding them in his hands. Now if you expect to live past the next 5 minutes, and would ever like to play a sport again, you'll be doing as I say today. You can't be serious, said Taylor, tossing the panties at Craig. They've got little pink trim and a tiny pink bow in front. I can't be in panties. Why not? That's what little girls wear, my soon-to-be little sis, said Craig as he caught them. You're about to live one of your own lies. Now get dressed. What the hell is wrong with you, Craig? Said Taylor as he caught the panties tossed back to him after they rebounded off his face. Are you telling me to dress as a girl? I can't pass as a girl. Really? Said Craig, folding his arms. Ever seen all that long messy hair of yours hanging out of that lacrosse helmet? Ever seen yourself in the morning when it's not brushed back? No one last night thought you were a boy. You mean the hot chick thought I was a girl? Asked Taylor. Ms. Caputo to you, and yes, said Craig. I tried to explain otherwise, but she was so excited to have met me and have a new friend for her daughter, she barely listened. What does it matter, as all you ever do is lie anyway, so today will be no different. In fact, I think this will teach you a little humility and a nice lesson. No way, said Taylor. No way am I being a chick. You're no chick, Taylor, just a sweet little girl having a play date, while I get to spend some time with her mother, said Craig, taking the papers and preparing to rip them. But hey, it's your choice. Kiss lacrosse, lacrosse camp, and any summer sports goodbye, because if you're not the perfect little play date starting 2 minutes from now, then you're about to be spending your summer in summer school and weekend tutoring. That's 2 minutes starting now. That's not fair, Craig, said Taylor, starting to lose it. You're out of control. Am I? Replied Craig, slightly tearing the form. I'm done lying for you, Taylor. It's your turn to finally do something for me. I've sacrificed everything for you. 1 minute and counting. Oh, this sucks, said Taylor, dropping off his underwear and stepping into the panties. No one better see me, or I'll kill you. They won't. Craig grinned. Now try on the jeans. Taylor was stepping into the skinny, slightly stretchy jeans as he pulled them up and fastened them. Yeah, that's not going to work, said Craig, rubbing his chin. I also bought the skirt with the ruffles that should hide it, so take off the pants and we'll try that. No way am I wearing a dress, screamed Taylor. This is already out of control. You're such a baby, Craig chuckled. Good thing I did my research, as I was worried about this little problem. Just stand there and shut up a minute. Craig left the room and went into Taylor's room, getting his lacrosse bag. What are you doing with my stuff? Said Taylor, confused as Craig rummaged through his bag. Tape, moron, said Craig. Now be still and don't make this any worse on either of us. Craig went into the bathroom, grabbing some toilet paper and then kneeled in front of Taylor, dropping his pants and panties to his ankles. He carefully avoided directly touching his brother's little shaft, wrapping it a few times around in toilet paper. He then circled the papered section with some of his white lacrosse stick tape before pulling it between his legs and taping it on his left butt cheek. He added a few more pieces of tape and then pulled up the panties and jeans, inspecting his work. That looks perfect, said Craig, ecstatic. Cross-dressers on the internet know their shit. Arms up, little girl, and then we'll dry that mop. You're sick, cried Taylor as Craig now stretched open a pink top, dropping it over his head and arms. Taylor just stared down, never having worn anything pink in his life before, as Craig switched on the blow dryer and began brushing through his hair, removing the dampness. When he switched it off, he parted Taylor's hair on the left and brushed it straight down. He then took some long front sections and dipped his fingers into some pomade, working it through Taylor's front strands. Okay, it looks complex, but they say the first step is like tying your shoelaces, said Craig, talking aloud to himself as he took a small section next to the part and divided it, weaving his fingers between them. Okay, I can do this. Please, Craig. What the hell are you talking about, and even worse, trying to do, whined Taylor. Call that chick and call this off. I can't go out like this. You'll be fine. I'm just trying to give you something appropriate so you don't look like a boy with messy hair and girl's clothes, said Craig, stretching a few small sections. Now shut up and let me concentrate. I watched like a dozen videos on this stuff last night while you were snoring up a storm. If I can do loose square knots, then I can do this. Now shut up and let me concentrate. He picked up a small section from the front on the heavy side of the hair where the majority of the hair sat. He then split that section into two smaller strands and then tied the first step of a knot just like you would begin to tie a shoelace. He then pulled the knot so that it sat snugly against Taylor's scalp, and then while holding the two ends in his hand added a third small section. He pinned it with a clip for a moment, stepping back to observe his work and then returned to continue working. I think I can actually do this, said Craig, pulling out the clip. Look down and stop fidgeting. He moved a little faster now, adding hair from both sides of the knot into each strand as he was confident in his weaving now. Taylor sat there getting more and more annoyed by the moment, as he could feel the tension against his scalp with each little knot. He interlaced them just like the first step of tying your shoe, and then did this 2 more times, each time adding the top strands to an alligator clip. He looked back and forth, seemingly happy as Taylor could feel him working his way down past his left cheek before he took a small clear band from his teeth and wound it in finishing off the braid. Damn, I'm good, said Craig, patting the braid and now covering Taylor's eyes as he saturated his head with a fruity-smelling hairspray. Okay, almost done. He took a single bobby pin, carefully sliding it through the bottom of the braided section, pinning it to the loose straight hair behind it. Oh, this really sucks, cried Taylor, watching Craig rip open a small package and take out a few bows. He held a few against Taylor before finally deciding, and then Taylor heard the little snap as it was clipped near the end of the braid at the side of his head. He gulped as Craig opened a little tube and squirted a clear gloss on his right finger. There wasn't much he could do as Craig grabbed his chin with his left hand, lifting his face and rubbed the gloss across his lips. Not bad. Not bad at all. You make a decent little missy, teased Craig, stepping back and then opening a box, dropping some shoes at his feet. Okay, feet in and we're out of here. Craig, please, I can't do this. I know I owe you big time, but think of something else, Taylor pleaded. Not a chance, replied Craig, pulling his arm and moving him towards the shoes. If you want, we can change you into the skirt if it makes you worried about passing, but trust me, I wouldn't be. Put your shoes on and go see for yourself. Taylor was shaking as he walked over, seeing his reflection in the bedroom mirror. He was ready to puke, struggling to believe his brother had done this to him, and he was about to leave the house like this. His chocolate brown hair had never shined like this before, no longer looking stringy, instead now looking straight, dark, and shiny as it sat touching his shoulders. In front, a thick braid stretched across his hairline from his side part down past his right ear, before being held by a large white silk bow, which pinned the braid to his straight locks, keeping it out of his face. There was absolutely no sign of a bump in his skinny white jeans, as it was extremely odd to be in jeans with faux front and rear pockets he couldn't put his hands into. His top was a salmon pink 3/4 sleeve glossy tunic, which had matching ribbon trim at the collar and sleeve endings. On his feet were pink shimmer flats, which slightly pinched his toes as he moved, and it was hard not to stare at how the clear lip gloss made a difference as his only cosmetic. Time to go, sis. Craig slapped him in the stomach with a little white purse. The strap goes off your shoulder and your phone and lip gloss are inside. Taylor couldn't look up as his brother dragged him right out the front door towards the car at the curb. He was scared that anyone would see him, and quickly he was in the back seat, crouching down. Please, Craig. Let's go back home. I'll never lie again, cried Taylor as tears rolled down his cheeks. I promise. Crying isn't going to help, Taylor. In fact, it makes you look more and more authentic as a little girl, so go ahead, cry your eyes out, replied Craig, giving him no sympathy. Plus, we both know you're a little lying machine, so today will be no different. In fact, go ahead if you want to tell them you're a boy dressed like a girl. Either way, you're going, and we'll be there in 5 minutes. Funny part is you actually look pretty cute as a girl. Now wipe those alligator tears. I put tissues in your purse, expecting you might try this bullshit. Taylor wiped his eyes and blew his nose as they parked the car. He almost lost complete focus seeing Carissa race over the second Craig pulled up. She was in the tightest opal-colored sweater dress, which hugged her every curve and which seemed to jiggle continuously as she was hurrying in her stilettos. Oh, Craig, she's beyond adorable, said Carissa, bending down and hugging Taylor as he quickly felt himself being squeezed between her massive mounds. So much prettier without all that gear on, honey. This is my Kaylee. Hi, said Kaylee, waving shyly. Hi, said Taylor, giving a little wave looking at the mini blonde version of her gorgeous mother. Kaylee was a little dressier than he was, in a shiny forest green pleated dress and her hair done in a series of loose waves with the front pulled back by a silver clip. She had big blue eyes with the slightest hint of mascara, and on her feet were silver sandals. Come on, let's all go inside, said Craig. Hope everyone's hungry. Sounds great, said Carissa, taking Kaylee in one hand and Taylor in the other. Let's get you two cuties acquainted. I think you'll be best friends in no time, girls. They went inside and sat down as Kaylee and Taylor didn't say much as Carissa and Craig did most of the talking. So girls, I thought today, since it's a beautiful day, we do something outside that I'm sure Taylor will like, and we'll also make a stop that you'll enjoy, Kaylee, said Carissa. So something for both of you, okay? Yes, Mom, said Kaylee politely, as Craig gave Taylor a little kick under the table. Yes, sounds wonderful, Ms. Caputo, said Taylor, giving Craig a look. Good, because I want Kaylee to try some new things, and I thought you being athletic and more outdoorsy could really help her. Mom, you know I hate getting dirty, or my hair messy, whined Kaylee. Honey, trying new things is very important, said Carissa. Don't worry, we'll find things that'll work well for both of you. I've got the perfect thing in mind. Fine, grumbled Kaylee before sipping her straw. By the way, I'm very fascinated with the hair, Craig, said Carissa, staring at Taylor. I mean, how many guys could do a knotted top braid, and the entire look on her is just gorgeous. I'm impressed. Oh, it was nothing. Raising a little girl, you learn over the years. I'm a fan of braids like these, because when the hair dries, the loops of the knots spread out a little and look absolutely gorgeous, said Craig, trying to sound caring and intelligent. I've been getting better at these things, but I'm better at the sports and guy stuff. Of course, that's why it's nice to have some friends like you I can bounce things off. I'm so flattered. Carissa smiled. That's so nice of you to say, but even the outfit looks so perfectly put together. It was easy, as Justice had such a nice sale on, so I picked up the top and jeans there, said Craig, trying to sound like he knew what he was talking about. They have some really cute stuff there for her. She's not an easy one to dress, but we're working on that. Oh, Kaylee and I love Justice. We'll have to shop together. I'd love that, and I can certainly help you find your look, honey, said Carissa, batting her lashes at him. I think a man that enjoys shopping is a wonderful trait. Oh, any time. Taylor's wardrobe could use a little upgrade, teased Craig, giving him a look. I certainly could use some help shopping with a person that's a fashionista like you, Carissa. Good, then it's a date for all of us. I'll plan a wonderful shopping trip, said Carissa. Would you like that, Taylor? Said Taylor, turning beet red, getting ready to kill brother as he felt a sharp kick under the table. Ah. I mean, wow. I guess if we have the time and can afford it. I don't want him spending what little money he has on pretty clothes for me. I'm just fine with what I have. Ah. Isn't she the sweetest thing? Said Carissa, as Craig gave Taylor a look as he was grinning like he dodged a bullet. You've got a good head on those pretty little shoulders, Taylor, and by the way, your shoes are just to die for, honey. She does, but we'll work something out, Carissa. You know, I wasn't really out looking for the flats, but when I walked through DSW I just couldn't resist how cute they'd be on her, so I try to never deny her, said Craig, looking over at him. I know how important pretty things are to girls her age, as I thought glitter ballet flats would just pick up her entire outfit. They were buy one get one half off, so how could I deprive this precious little one? You're a shrewd shopper. I love that. I'm so glad we met, said Carissa, looking at Craig lovingly. You two are amazing. I can hardly wait for the rest of the day. When they finished lunch, they walked together down the block, and as they turned the corner, the kids looked up, seeing a carnival. Ready for some rides, girls, said Carissa. I figured this should be fun for you. Taylor felt slightly more relaxed, going on a few twirling rides and then playing a few games, as no one seemed to pay him any mind, as he was just another kid. Kaylee was also beginning to loosen up and talk more, chatting his ear off now as he could barely keep up with what she was talking about. They all shared some custard ice cream and then cotton candy as time passed quickly. I think you girls are really enjoying this, said Carissa, loving the smile on her daughter's face. Really bonding. Mom, Taylor is awesome, but I feel disgusting, said Kaylee, holding out her sticky hands and wiping the windblown hair from her face. Please clean me up, and all this wind and spinning ruined my hair. I hate to say it, but I'm so happy to see you a little messy, honey. As it is, I was worried about you in a dress doing all this, but at least you didn't tip it, said Carissa, wiping Kaylee's hands, the collar of her dress, and then surprising Taylor, wiping his hands. And you, Taylor? What happened to that pretty bow of yours? Oh, I'm not sure, said Taylor, reaching over as he was able to stretch his loose front braid, noticing the bow was gone and the ends of the braid were starting to unwind. Wind, honey. No big deal, said Carissa. I'll fix you little beauties up. We should have pinned all this up earlier, but you girls looked much too pretty to mess with. Carissa opened her purse again, placing some scrunchies between her teeth and then taking a brush to Kaylee's hair. She was quick, and within 30 seconds, Kaylee's hair was in a high pony as she turned her attention to Taylor. It was unexpected for him as he didn't know how to react, as quickly she unwound the rest of his braid. It was weird having his hair brushed rapidly by Carissa as she moved like lightning, brushing it back away from his face. It was even hard to focus on what she was doing as he found himself inches from her huge boobs as she gathered his hair and wound in the first scrunchie. Very cute for now, girls, said Carissa, snapping in the other before putting away her brush. Come on, Craig, and I have a special surprise I've been promising you, Kaylee, for a while. Craig says you'll love this one too, Taylor. With her left hand, Carissa grabbed Kaylee's hand, and with the right, Taylor, as she weaved them through the crowd, swinging their arms, skipping and giggling as Craig followed. Taylor looked back at his brother, ready to scream as he could see his hair swaying in and out of his face on each side as they moved. He looked up, seeing a little western shop as she brought them right inside, as his heart stopped at seeing all the merchandise. Oh, Mom! I love all these outfits, said Kaylee. I can get the cowgirl outfit you promised. Yes, you both can. But nothing crazy, Kaylee, said Carissa. We have to be mindful of the prices. Yes, of course, Mom, said Kaylee, jumping up and down a little and grabbing a pink skirt from the rack. Can we get the same thing? I'd love to match, like sisters. Wouldn't that be fun, Taylor? Stuttered Taylor. Taylor's not really into dresses, said Craig, stepping in, seeing him looking pale. Kaylee, I know you're excited, but slow down, honey. This isn't the mall, it's a carnival, and for what we're doing, skirts are inappropriate, said Carissa, taking a few items from the racks. Here we go, try these on, girls. Kaylee practically ripped Taylor's arm off as they headed to the dressing room. He was completely uncomfortable, turning his back as he pulled off his top and quickly buttoned up the new shirt. Let me see. Let me see, yelled Kaylee, excited as she was already changed as he turned around. Before he could barely blink, she was dragging him back out as Carissa and Craig were waiting. Very cute on you, Taylor, said Carissa, coming over, but go try on the denim top, Kaylee. I'm not sure I love that one on you. As Kaylee ran back into the dressing room, Carissa held out a pink vest, slipping it over Taylor's arms. She wrapped her arms around his waist as he looked down, seeing the huge belt, and then she fastened it and stepped back as Kaylee came back out. Go sit and the man will help you, Taylor, while I attend to Kaylee, said Carissa as he saw the big shoebox in the salesman's hand. These should be her size, miss, said the salesman, pointing to a bench as Taylor had little choice but to sit and be fitted. Quickly he pulled off Taylor's flats before slipping some little pads over his feet, and then he could hardly believe his eyes as he opened the box. It was crazy seeing the pink cowboy boot slide over his ankle as the salesman slid it perfectly in place. I'm getting those too, Mom, cried Kaylee, excited as she came out in her new outfit. Please tell me I am? You know I've been dying for boots like that. You are honey. Carissa smiled as Kaylee jumped onto the bench next to Taylor. Let me just do a little something with you, Taylor, while Kaylee gets her shoes on. Carissa led Taylor over to a wall that was filled with accessories, and he knew this couldn't be good. She held a few things up against him, and quickly a thick silver costume bracelet was over his right wrist, and then he was scared as she held a few different earrings up to his ear, looking at options. She then placed a few of them back on the peg racks and took a set from their little packaging, as he felt a little pressure on each ear when she clipped them on. She then did the same thing with a series of bows and clips, holding them up near his head until she was satisfied with her selection. She twisted his head as she tugged at his hair on the right side, before hearing a snap of a band, and then she repeated it on the left. Adorable! Your turn, Kaylee, said Carissa, turning her towards Taylor, fixing her pony as he stood there feeling strange. I know you like it high, but I'm just going to lower it a little for now like I did Taylor's, or the hats won't sit right and later I'll raise it again. These are perfect, right? Said Craig from behind, dropping a hat over Taylor's head. Oh my God, said Carissa excitedly as she dropped the other onto Kaylee's. They're gorgeous. You excited, girls? Yes, Mommy, said Kaylee as she hugged her and then Craig and then Taylor. I feel just like one of my American Girl dolls. Craig and Carissa split the bill as Kaylee enthusiastically dragged Taylor over to the big store mirror. He felt sick to his stomach seeing his new cowgirl image, as Kaylee was twisting and turning, looking at herself in her new outfit. The only thing still on Taylor was his tight white jeans, but his pink top had been replaced with a white western collared shirt. The girl's red ranch western shirt featured a spread collar with shiny metallic dots throughout, decorating the entire shirt. Pearl buttons at the front placket and cuffs added some extra shine, but the pink vest really broke up the white purity of the outfit. The open vest was highlighted by a thick row of pink fringes hanging loosely across the chest area, and on each side were faux vest pockets. On his feet, his pink cowgirl boots added to his new country girl look, and a thick pink belt with a large silver buckle graced his waist. He got a good view now of the pigtails Carissa had rearranged his hair into, and even worse, she had now wound in some pink and white tails down bows, which had a long pink ribbon tails streaming down 4 or 5 inches with each pigtail. On his wrist was a thick silver pewter bracelet, and silver horseshoe drop clip-on earrings with some rhinestones pinched his lobes. On his head sat a pink cowboy hat, which had a rhinestone tiara-like crown decorating the front of the hat above the brim, and across his neck sat the little plastic knots of the hat's thin chin strap. Kaylee's outfit was identical with pink boots, vest, and hat, except her top and jeans were distressed denim instead of white. Okay, I got the tickets, said Craig, holding a group of small green tickets. They can go 4 times each. That's perfect. Let's go, my pretty cowgirls, said Carissa, taking them by the hands and back outside. They said to go out this way. As they exited out a back door of the store, Taylor's sense of smell perked up, immediately recognizing the lovely aroma of hat and manure. He looked up, seeing only a few kids in line ahead of them as Carissa led them over and Craig handed the tickets to the handler. You excited, girls? Said Carissa as she adjusted the little cords under each of their chins so the hats were snug. I know you've been dying for pony rides, Kaylee. Yes, thank you so much, Mom, said Kaylee, clapping her hands a few times. Thanks for the jeans too, as I would have been grossed out with my legs touching him in a skirt. Do I know my daughter or what? Said Carissa, looking at Craig. I've got the hand sanitizer in my bag for when you come off. Have fun, sweetie. Taylor rolled his eyes and made a face at his brother as they lifted Kaylee onto the horse. Carissa snapped shot after shot as Kaylee was in her glory taking her first pony ride, as Taylor just stood there waiting his turn. Okay, pretty little filly. Step up. "You're next," said the man as Taylor stepped up on the hay bale awaiting his turn. Taylor gave Craig a fake smile as the man hoisted him up on the pony. As he dropped him into the saddle, Taylor got the surprise of his life, feeling a sharp pain, instantly realizing he was sitting on his pinned-back shaft. "Craig, get me off," cried Taylor in a high-pitched voice, now bouncing on his own manhood as the horse began moving. "Please. Help me. Help." "Honey, don't be scared," said Carissa, running along the fence as the horse was being walked away with him on it. "You're fine. I'd never let anything happen to you, honey. Relax, it's just a pony. Be a big girl. You can do this." He was going numb down there, bouncing with each movement of the horse as Craig could barely control his laughter as they had made the first half circle. "Stop that," said Carissa, slapping him playfully. "She's really scared to death. Don't be mean to that little cutie." "Sorry," said Craig, trying to catch his breath from laughing. "I just didn't expect that." "Me either. I thought she was a tough outdoorsy lacrosse girl," snickered Carissa, smiling and giggling a little. "You better hug her and kiss her nonstop when she gets off. She's obviously not some little ruffian like you've been treating her. You'll need to accept she's more delicate than you'd like to think." "Good thing I met you then," teased Craig. "I'll try, but I'm out of my league here." "Good thing for all of us, I hope," said Carissa, rubbing Craig's forearm and looking up into his eyes. "I'm going to help her if it's okay with you. I'm good with girly stuff. Also, my daughter seems to be bonding with her really well, so I was thinking we could spend more time together. You know, really get to know each other." "I'd like that," said Craig before looking over at the man leading the pony towards them, yelling out, "She's okay. We've got 3 more tickets, so keep going around." Carissa was thrilled, giving him a hug as Taylor and Kaylee went around 3 more times. When the ride finally finished, Taylor was lifted off and wobbled as his feet touched the ground. "You did it, sweetie." Carissa hugged and kissed him. "Come on, no more excitement for today. You girls look pooped." Chapter 2. They all walked back to their cars and hugged each other goodnight as Taylor felt relieved it was over, buckling himself in. As Craig started backing out of the parking spot, they were both startled by a knock on his passenger window. As he rolled down the window, Carissa poked her head in, leaning on the car. "You know, I was just thinking that it's Friday night of a long weekend, and I was wondering if you two would like to come back to my place," said Carissa. "You know, maybe for coffee? And the kids could play a little." "Oh well, Taylor has a big game tomorrow and I thought you guys might be tired," said Craig, getting nervous as her boobs were resting on the door. "A little, but I think my daughter got her second wind, and she's thrilled with her new friend," said Carissa, biting her lip and staring at Craig. "But if you're tired, then maybe some other." No. We'd love that." Craig glanced back at Taylor. "Just not too late, of course." "Perfect." Carissa clapped happily. "Just follow me. I've got the little red Mer convertible." "Please, let's just go home," Taylor said, annoyed as she walked away. "I need to go ice my balls." "Do you have any idea what you put me through?" "Like it's even close to anything you've put me through every damn week," mumbled Craig, basically ignoring him as he drove. "Craig, you're not listening." "Call her and let's go home now," said Taylor. "Enough is enough. Are you hearing me or not?" "You know what I'm hearing?" Craig replied, spinning around as they stopped at a light and grabbing Taylor by one of his pigtails. the voice of a cute little girl, so I'm glad that pony ride helped you get your voice a little higher. Now don't mess this up for me, or you'll be singing soprano permanently. Okay, cried Taylor as he released the pigtail and began driving again. Finally, they pulled up at Carissa's complex and they followed them into a lovely multi-level townhouse. Why don't you girls go play while Craig and I have some adult time, said Carissa. Share all your dolls and toys, okay honey? I will, said Kaylee. Can we play with my new Barbie styling set? Sure, have fun girls, said Carissa, turning to Craig as Kaylee dragged Taylor to her room. I'll put on the coffee. Make yourself at home, Craig. You want me to put on the TV? Sports or something? No, thanks. Can I help you with anything? Craig asked. That's so sweet, said Carissa. I'm fine. I was just going to make the kids some chocolate chip cookies. Taylor likes them, right? Of course, Craig took the knife from her. Here, let me slice the dough and set the table while you do whatever you need to do. I can't let you do everything. They chatted about many things until finally the kids were called in, having cookies and milk as the adults shared some coffee. So what do you think, Mom? Asked Kaylee as she came running in, dragging Taylor behind her. Did I do it good? Craig chuckled, half spitting up his coffee. Oh, very pretty honey, Carissa complimenting them. You did so wonderfully too, Taylor. Sit and eat your cookies. Taylor was completely red-faced, eating his cookies as he gave the most evil look to his brother. Gone were his precious pigtails, as his entire head now consisted of a sloppy, crooked French braid. He had also made a pretty feeble attempt to give Kaylee braided pigtails, as one was much higher than the other and half the hair messily hung out of the braids. Let me just make a few small adjustments for you girls, said Carissa. Watch and learn, okay sweeties? Taylor and Craig watched as Carissa was a whiz at this, undoing each pigtail and quickly snapping them back in place. Once she bound each side, she then took a flowery spray, dampening Kaylee's hair, brushing through each pigtail and quickly braiding each side. When she finished, she turned her attention to Taylor, undoing his braid and then dampening his hair with the floral spray as she lifted and brushed. She then began pulling his hair from the front at each temple and then began twisting with precision, as he could feel his entire head being wound one step at a time from front to back, before she snapped in a band. I want you girls to sleep like this tonight, and then each of you will have some pretty waves in the morning if you decide to wear your hair loose. Carissa sprayed each of their heads again with another spray. Okay then ladies, because it's been a long day, we're about ready to call it a night I think. Everyone looks wiped out. Yes Mom, said Kaylee. What do you say, pretty girl? Teased Craig. Ready to call it a night? Yeah please, mumbled Taylor, dying to leave. Okay, well then I'll pick you guys up bright and early, okay? Said Carissa, hugging Taylor. Tomorrow? Asked Taylor, stunned. Yes, you're excited I see, said Carissa, squeezing him so hard and hugging him again. I'm so happy we're all hitting it off so well. Craig, yelped Taylor, gazing at his brother and looking ready to kill. You didn't forget tomorrow's the big game. No way am I. Relax. Relax. Craig interrupted. I'd never make you miss it. I know how important it is to you. A little AM time with our new friends, and then I'll get you there. Understood? Yes, said Taylor, still annoyed and putting his head down. Good night everyone, said Craig as they all hugged. Taylor barely said a word, still angry in the car as they drove home. As they went in, his brother grabbed his arm, stopping him before he headed to bed. You did good today, so don't fuck this up for me tomorrow if you expect to play. Craig nastily told his little brother. Now get to bed and don't touch that braid. Taylor got up in the morning, wandering into the kitchen and seeing Craig having coffee already, dressed in khaki shorts, sandals, and a peach polo shirt. Guess you wanted your turn in pink, Taylor sarcastically told him. Why don't you dress yourself up in pink and I'll just go to my game? Sound like a plan, jerk? It does, but don't worry, I'm sure you'll still be the pretty little one she fusses over, Craig teased as he sipped his coffee. You'll be as cute as ever in what I got up early and bought you. I'm not wearing any freaking dresses, screamed Taylor. Just sleep with the crazy bitch already and get me out of this. No wonder she's in therapy. Just her thinking I'm a girl and having her be friends with her daughter tells you all you need to know about her. She's freaking unstable, and you're even more nuts chasing her and doing all this. It's called being needy, moron. Craig grabbed his arm. Now let's get you dressed, because I intend to satisfy all her needs, and hopefully today. Craig dragged Taylor to the bedroom and he sulked, seeing his clothes on the bed as he knew the drill but still struggled accepting it. Easy, that's so sore. Taylor quivered as his brother wrapped and taped him. I bet, said Craig, holding out some peach panties. If I was you, I'd make sure to wear your cup in the game later. Taylor could barely speak, feeling the steam from his ears as he stepped into his new peach leggings. Craig pulled them up, snapping the elastic waistband slightly as he snugged them past his hips and then dropped a top over his head. Craig took some white flats from the box and just as he was beginning to complain, Craig was buckling the little straps across each foot. He rolled his eyes, seeing Craig open a package of peach ribbon and spun him around as he tied a bow at the end of his French braid and sprayed some sticky hairspray at the back of his head. Perfect timing, said Craig, hearing the horn beep outside and opening the little lip gloss, rubbing it on his brother. Let's go, if you want to make sure we're back in time for your game. I really hate you, said Taylor, shaking his head looking down at himself. And I hate doing this for you. I know you do, but you look so cute doing it. Craig tickled under his chin to annoy him. Now let's go, and remember your purse, it's on the table. Craig walked over, opening the front door as Taylor put his head down, pouting as he walked across the room and grabbing the white purse. He was in stretch cotton short-sleeve top featuring a bold striped print with peach and white thick horizontal stripes. A glittery semi-faded butterfly graced the middle of the shirt which stretched past his waist as the long top hung daintily covered his hips and rear. From under it, his legs were completely covered in matching peach stretch leggings and at the bottom of the leggings, 2 ruffled layers matched his top and added to the rumba design of the outfit. On his feet were white flats, which had a white bow across the toe line, and across his left shoulder sat the strap of his same white purse as he held it while he walked out the door. I love that on you, sweetie. Carissa hugged him as they jumped from the car to greet them. And what an adorable touch on the braid, Craig. Thanks, said Craig, trying to act like he knew what he was doing. I try, and Taylor loves the little touches, so I do my best. Can I get that bow too, Mom? Kaylee asked, touching Taylor's bow. I like her hair better than mine. And the ribbon. It's just from Target, said Craig. I have another one inside. 1 second and I'll get it for you. It's okay, Craig, said Carissa, giving her daughter a look. Don't be difficult today, Kaylee. It's nothing, said Craig. They came in sets, I guess, in case you want to use them on pigtails. I'll be right back. Taylor was looking all around, dying to get in the car before any neighbor would notice him as Craig ran inside. He stood there staring at the ground as Carissa was annoyed, taking out Kaylee's pigtails and taking her brush from her purse. Right at the curbside, she began twisting and changing Kaylee's hair until Craig returned, handing Carissa the ribbon scrunchie. As she wounded in at the end of Kaylee's single braid, he quickly realized they were now in identical French braids and with peach-tied bows and ribbons streaming down their backs. She opened her purse, again taking out a purple pump spray, and before he could even blink, felt the stickiness across his forehead as she sprayed both him and Kaylee. He almost leaped into the car the moment she unlocked the door, half hiding behind Kaylee, hoping no one had noticed them. Craig got in the passenger seat as they drove off in Carissa's little sporty red car. He tried tuning out most of the conversation as Kaylee almost never shut up, until finally he looked up, seeing they had pulled up at the mall. He could see his brother's little smirk as he got out, as Carissa took each of them by the hand and leading them inside. He was ready to cry as she brought them into the first girls' shop, holding out tops and dresses against them as she ripped through the racks. They shopped for over an hour as Craig and Carissa were chatting about everything in the world as they went from store to store browsing. After the fifth store, Carissa's eyes lit up seeing a new store she had never been in before, dragging everyone inside. "Why don't you girls go try a few of these on?" Carissa suggested, handing them a few hangers. "I love this color for you, Taylor, and everything is just so cute here." "Go ahead, Kaylee," said Taylor, turning away. "I could never let my brother spend all this money on me. I'm fine with what I've got, and dresses aren't my thing." "Aw. You're such a wonderful little one, aren't you, Taylor?" said Carissa, opening her purse and taking out her car keys before turning towards Craig. "You know, Craig, I just realized I forgot to get my oil changed and the tires rotated. You won't mind being a dear and taking my car to the service station around the corner, would you? We'll just do some more girl shopping, and I'm sure you could use a break from all this girl stuff, eh?" "Oh, sure," said Craig, taking the keys as she winked at him, handing him $100 bill. "You're so sweet," said Carissa, kissing his cheek and whispering in his ear before speaking aloud again. "I got this, okay? Just text me when it's done and we'll let you know where to meet us. We'll just be having a little girl time." "Sounds good." Craig looked at Taylor. "I expect you'll be on your best behavior, young lady." Craig left as Carissa strolled back to the rack, picking a few items for Taylor and handing them to him. "Go try these on and come out and let me see how they look on you." Carissa handed him a stack of outfits. "You need me to come and help you?" "But..." Taylor started to protest, but she immediately stopped him from complaining. "I'm not asking, Taylor," said Carissa, giving him a touch of attitude before piling another on top. "Now go ahead and stop worrying so much. I just want you to not be so concerned with money, and enjoy being a little girl. We understand each other, right? And do you need help trying them on?" "Sorry, I understand," replied Taylor, taking them and turning away. "I'll be fine." "Good, then run along and come out after every outfit," said Carissa, grabbing more clothes and handing them to Kaylee. Taylor was steaming but did as he was told, changing in the little private dressing room and modeling for Carissa as he came out. It seemed to last forever, constantly changing and being critiqued over style, color, and size with each change. He was at least happy they were all casual clothes as Carissa handed him one more outfit as he thought he was almost done. "That's gorgeous on you," said Carissa, spinning her finger for him to twist around. "Okay, just try on the smaller size and then we're done." "Okay," said Taylor, heading back in with the last outfit. "That's perfect," said Carissa, waving the sales clerk over. If you could just bag up her clothes, she'll wear that out. Of course, said the shop girl, coming over and removing an electronic tag from his top. I'll bag up her old clothes for you, miss, and did you want the accessories as well? Please, said Carissa, flicking her wrist. They can wear the jewelry out now and I'll take the clip set for later. As she snapped the security tags off his pants, he realized this little dress-up session was over and looked across the room, realizing that he and Kaylee were now dressed identically. She had also certainly taken him from a more casual to a dressier chic look as the clerk slipped on his bracelets. Gone was the simple peach-striped shirt and leggings, replaced now with a lightweight glossy peplum top featuring a scarlet-red color. Spaghetti straps were the only thing across his shoulders in its tunic design, and the 2 layers of flared peplum hem daintily flowed, covering the top his hip bones. At the waistline and just above the ruffles was a built-in layer of sequins and rhinestones, giving it that tapered waistline look, and a large matching silk rose offset to the waistline's left added an ultra-girly flair. On the bottom he was in stretch-long caprice stone-washed blue jeans, which had hand-painted rose decals and scattered rhinestones at the pockets, and on his feet were white open-toed sandals. On each side, a double buckles held in his feet, and between his big and second toes sat a series of large crystal-like costume stones. He shook his right wrist as a silver bracelet wrangled with a dozen or so charms, and across his left was a thick red and silver costume bracelet. He had never had a ring on his finger before, and now had a few on each hand, and around his neck was a series of interlocking hearts. Carissa handed him his new red shoulder bag, which was considerable larger than his old purse, as suddenly it was across his left shoulder while she spun him around, snapping a red double rosette scrunchie into the end of his braid as she pulled out the peach-ribboned one. Here, girls, said Carissa, handing them each 2 small shopping bags, before taking each of them by the other hand. Carry these for me, please. Taylor didn't know if it was better or worse leaving the store in his new outfit, only feeling better not to be trying on things. He couldn't believe how much colder he felt in the tank top-like tunic, and his ankles being on display in the capris led to a little chill with the mall's heavy AC. They turned down a corridor towards the exit as he felt better seeing the bright light of the outdoors, only to be twisted to the left as she yanked them into the last store before the exit. Caputo for 3, said Carissa to the receptionist. I have manis and petties booked. Yes, we're ready for you ladies, said the girl, staring at her appointment book. Follow me please, ladies. Taylor was ready to shit his pants. As she let him past the receptionist's desk, the pungent smell of the salon filled his nose. He started shaking as Carissa took their bags as he was quickly ushered to a seat at a small table opposite a Korean woman. He looked over at Kaylee, sitting at the station next to him, all smiles as Carissa was having some discussions while the woman who took his trembling hand. As he looked back down at his fingers, she rubbed them softly to calm him down and then inserted them into something rubber that kept them separated. He knew what was about to happen and closed his eyes as he couldn't look as he could feel her working on his nails. He would glance up every once in a while as she trimmed, shaped and buffed his sloppy nails, but it was so hard to watch the inevitable. When the latest fumes penetrated his nostrils, his eyes popped wide open again as he watched the colored polish brush across his first nail. It was like it was happening in slow motion, yet it was over in a flash as he was ready to explode in a fit of rage as his nails now matched his tunic. Keep them fanned out, yelled Carissa from the station, where she was having hers done as they stood him up. You have had your nails done before, right? Oh, not often enough of course, and never in place like this, said Craig, walking in and kissing Carissa's cheek. What a nice surprise, Carissa. You're just spoiling them. Oh, stop it, teased Carissa. She deserves a nice treat. She's a darling and I'm about to spoil you too. Sit down right there. Me? Craig asked, surprised. Yeah, you, And not for a minute would I believe you've never had yours done, said Carissa, grinning at him. I think it's wonderful when men take care of themselves, like getting a good manicure. Now sit down, and I'm treating you as well. Oh, yeah, well, it's just been a while, of course, said Craig, sitting at the station next to Carissa. Who am I to argue with a persistent woman like you? Exactly, giggled Carissa. Now relax and let's all enjoy our little pampering. Craig sat next to her enjoying the conversation until finally his hands were under the dyer, having his clear finish baked on. When he finally got up, he turned looking over at Taylor sitting next to Kaylee in an elevated chair as they were having their toes finished. See, your hands look and feel so much better, said Carissa, touching one of his now softer nails. You sure you didn't want your nails in cherry blossom like I picked for the girls? No, I'm good with the clear coat, said Craig as they shared a laugh. I think you've more than done enough for both of us. Pretty soon we'll have to leave for Taylor's game once her nails are done. Okay, I wish you didn't have to go, said Carissa, looking into his eyes. But I understand. Kaylee's really taken to her and I had one more little thing she's wanted, but been kind of chicken to do alone. I thought maybe if they did it together she'd be fine, so I thought I'd ask you first. It's quick, plus little girls can be so funny about things and I just thought it would really help her be a bit more feminine. Look at them over there together. They look adorable dressed alike, right? So we could have them do it right here, and? No problem, said Craig, stopping her mid-sentence. Whatever helps you and Kaylee, then count Taylor in. I realized she's a bit of a tomboy, but spending time with you has really been good for both of us. You're amazing, Craig. I figured their birthstone colors okay, said Carissa, kissing his cheek and waving over to a girl in the back. Hey, you want to come over later for dinner? I'm a pretty good cook and I've really enjoyed all of our time together. You kidding? Craig jumped at the offer. That would be fantastic. We can change and come over right after the game. She's an April birthday. Sounds wonderful, said Carissa, distracted by one of the workers. Yes, the brunette first, okay? She's April. Want me to hug her while you do it, so she's not too rattled? No, we work in teams so it's quick, said the woman motioning over another worker. The Korean woman nodded without saying a word as Carissa was almost biting her new nails, watching them approach Taylor. He was barely paying attention as she twisted his neck and then Carissa put her head down on Craig's shoulder, unable to watch as his jaw dropped hearing Taylor screech. No, screamed Taylor before the woman put her palm over his mouth. Holy S. Don't make them see me looking, said Carissa half hiding. I can't even take it when she gets a splinter. Taylor practically jumped from the chair as a second woman restrained him and then quickly Carissa broke from Craig and ran over, hugging him. You're so brave, and it's all over, sweetie. Trust me, you'll never have to be fearful about this again when you're older, if you do a few more. Carissa squeezed Taylor as quickly he felt the second pinch. You look so beautiful today. I know you're not used to all this attention, but you deserve it, sweetie. Careful with those pretty nails. Oh shit, mouthed Craig from across the room, moving his hands up and down. It's fine. No biggie, Taylor. Stay calm. Those are so pretty on you, Taylor, said Kaylee looking over. See how brave she was, Kaylee, said Carissa turning towards her as she wiped away Taylor's tears. You ready for your birthstone now too? Yes, Mommy, said Kaylee, closing her eyes. Taylor couldn't believe how quickly this all had happened, as he didn't know whether to scream or cry, barely able to look at Craig while they finished drying his toes. Finally, they were back in Carissa's car as she drove them home and they hugged, saying their goodbyes. "Change and we're going in 5, or you'll be late for pregame workouts," said Craig, like nothing had happened. "You kidding?" "5 minutes," said Taylor, trying to twist an earring in his sore lobe. "Help me get these out, and what do we have to get off this polish?" "Are you retarded?" yelled Craig, taking some band-aids from the kitchen cabinet. "We'll cover the studs and they'll be under the helmet. No one will see them or the nails. Keep your helmet and gloves on. Tonight's my big night with Carissa, so no way are you ruining what she just paid for. Now get into your uniform and let's hit the field." "I can't keep doing this," cried Taylor. "This is bullshit, and now I've got holes in my ears." "Shut up. You'll be the cool kid in school with earrings if you want, or we'll just take them out," said Craig. "Once I get in her pants, I'll figure out how to break the news to her about you. I'll think of something, or maybe you will. You're the king, or should I say queen, of lies." Taylor gave his brother the finger and quickly changed into his lacrosse uniform. Craig helped him on with the band-aids to cover his studs, and then pulled out his braid as his hair flowed wildly under the helmet. He felt better in his uniform as they headed to the game, no longer thinking about his horrible experiences as he got there. His team was tiny next to the imposing team he was playing and quickly fell behind. In the second part of the game, Taylor really started making things happen, scoring and then scoring again. He quickly figured out he was the fastest player on the field, weaving through players and tying the score. In the end, he was getting knocked around like a little rag doll before he finally broke through and scored the winning goal. He was mobbed by his team as they celebrated the unlikely victory, and his day had just gone from strange to fantastic. "Great job, Taylor," said Craig, smacking his helmet as they walked off on cloud 9. "Excuse me," a man interrupted them. "I just wanted to let you know you were unbelievable, and I'm thoroughly impressed." "It's Taylor, right?" "Yes, sir, thank you," said Taylor, shaking hands with his glove on. "Look, I came over to invite you to join our elite travel team," said the man. "I'm Coach Frank, and I just watched you annihilate some of the best kids on our travel team. 3 of them play on the rec team you just played, and you'd be a great addition for us. Have any interest?" "You kidding?" said Taylor. "That's been my goal, to get picked for a top travel team." "Good, then consider it about to come true if your dad says okay," said Frank, holding a clipboard towards Craig. "I'm not the dad, but I am Taylor's guardian," said Craig, reading it. "Wow, it's pretty expensive, so you better really want this, Taylor." "Please, you know I do," said Taylor, practically begging. "I guess we'll make some sacrifices and squeeze it in then," said Craig, signing the form. "I'd say you've kind of earned it after everything today." "You think?" said Taylor sarcastically. "Oh, I think he does," said Frank. "Any boy that can run and weave like that has talent that would be wasted without the advanced training and competition he'll be getting." "Better get those eyes of yours checked," said Carissa, surprising all of them from behind. "How have you been, Frank?" "Carissa!" shouted Frank as they instantly hugged. "You look fantastic." "How have you been? And look at you, Kaylee. You're getting so big." "I've been fantastic, and you look great as well." "I just saw your son, and little Johnny is not so little anymore," said Carissa. "So I didn't know that you guys all knew each other?" "We don't," said Frank. "I just saw Taylor kill my son's rec team and just signed him for my travel team." He's unbelievable. Yeah, that's what I meant about those eyes of yours getting checked, said Carissa with a chuckle, pulling off Taylor's helmet. I guess you didn't realize you just got killed by a girl. No way, said Frank as Carissa pulled off one little band-aid revealing his sparkling earring. Yeah way, said Carissa smiling, pulling off the other. Carissa, I didn't know you guys were here, said Craig, panicking a little. Kaylee and I watched from the car, because I didn't want her to be nervous seeing us here, said Carissa, explaining. You see, Frank, Taylor and Kaylee are best friends. They just got their nails done together this morning. Taylor didn't know whether to crawl under a rock or scream as she pulled off his glove, revealing his painted nails. He glanced around, noticing none of his teammates within close sight as they were all heading home, and then found his mind racing for the appropriate lie. Damn, I can't believe a little girl lit us up today, said Johnny. Well, believe it, said Kaylee. She's awesome. It just means you morons will have to take good care of her on the field, said Frank, looking at his son. There's not many girls in the league, but a girl can play on a boys' team, so she'll be fine. You kidding? This is so cool, said Johnny, looking Taylor up and down and checking him out. No doubt she's faster than any boys we've got, so everyone's going to love the addition. I know, I'm looking forward to it. So Carissa, we should get together sometime, said Frank. You know I never did remarry. How about you? Seeing anyone? Well, a lot's changed in my life since way back then, Frank, said Carissa, getting a bit cold. I'm not seeing anyone this second, but maybe we can save this conversation for another time, okay? Oh. Sorry, I understand, said Frank, looking around at everyone. Hey, look, we're having a birthday party for Johnny tomorrow at my house. Why don't all of you come? It's a great chance for Taylor to meet the travel team, and Kaylee would be there too, so she won't be the only girl, although some cousins of mine are girls and will be there. I'm not sure, Frank, said Carissa, feeling awkward. Can I get back to you on that? It's kind of sudden. The girls had plans together tomorrow, said Craig, stepping in. We'll let you know. No problem, said Frank, hugging Carissa and shaking Craig's hand. Either way, I'll see everyone again soon. Especially our new top scorer. Taylor was mortified as they all walked away, as Carissa took him and Kaylee by the hand. Meet me at my place, and I hope you're hungry as I made us a big dinner? Carissa smiled at Craig. The girls want to ride together, and Taylor looks exhausted. We'll just change her back at my place, okay? Sure, replied Craig, getting excited. As they got back to Carissa's place, Taylor found himself back in his earlier outfit, as once again he matched Kaylee. Once he changed, he headed into the kitchen where he saw Carissa putting a big roast on the table and Kaylee putting down 4 placemats. You look cute even with a little helmet head, Taylor, teased Carissa, taking off her oven mitts. Kaylee, go get me a brush and 2 headbands and I'll take out your braid for dinner. Yes, Mommy, said Kaylee. See what nice waves those braids made in your hair, honey, said Carissa, brushing his head and then sliding on a headband. As soon as I get out your braid, Kaylee, then you 2 cuties set the table. Quickly Taylor found himself following Kaylee's lead, laying out each place setting as Craig was having a beer watching TV. He looked over, seeing the red headband with a large offset bow on Kaylee's head and not even having to look, knowing he was in the same one. He sat for dinner at their table as they laughed and chatted as he tried forgetting the day. Mom, can we go play in my room? Said Kaylee. Sure, said Carissa. You two go have some fun. Kaylee dragged Taylor away, as Carissa and Craig sat sipping wine. So tell me how you know Frank, said Craig. Is he an old boyfriend or something? That whole thing about seeing someone seemed kind of awkward. Well, I didn't want to talk in front of the kids, said Carissa, downing a full glass of wine. Just so you know, I'm a really different person now. I'm just not like that anymore. I'm sorry, Carissa, said Craig, getting nervous. I didn't mean anything by that. I wasn't judging you, it's okay, Craig. I've made plenty of mistakes, but that part of my life is behind me, replied Carissa, drinking another glass of wine. Right now I'm just trying to beat my addiction, take care of my daughter and move forward. And you're doing great at all that, said Craig, moving closer towards her and rubbing her back. I'm here for you. For anything you need. We can help each other. I hope so, said Carissa, looking into his eyes as the phone rang. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Carissa answered the phone and was chatting away, as it was Frank on the line. She listened and talked as Craig could overhear most of it as she held the phone against her palm as Kaylee came rushing in, interrupting. Mommy, Taylor doesn't want to play dolls, said Kaylee, pulling her leg. Can we play beauty parlor? Sure, said Carissa, brushing her off. Go ahead. Taylor looked ready to kill, as after 10 minutes Kaylee dragged him back in, interrupting again as now Taylor's cheeks were covered in pink blush and his eyes were covered in caked-on blue eyeshadow. Got to go, Frank, said Carissa, hanging up. We'll see you tomorrow? So you're going to the party? Asked Craig, surprised. Yes, I feel bad, said Carissa. I thought we'd all go together. Together? Said Taylor, stunned. With all the boys? Yeah, but not looking like this, teased Carissa, taking a washcloth to his face. Easy on all that, girls, or is that how I look to you? How about you two go play something else? Kaylee again dragged Taylor off as Carissa and Craig resumed their conversation. So, you okay with tomorrow? Said Carissa, sitting back on her legs next to Craig on the couch. I guess, as long as it's not too uncomfortable for you, said Craig, sipping his wine. Guys like me are used to being cooped up with a bunch of smelly guys who like talking sports. That's probably not easy then for guys that have different hang-ups like we do, said Carissa. I find myself stuck thinking about my addiction instead of other things. I wish I could think about almost anything else. Thank goodness or Kaylee and I would be a mess. I completely understand, said Craig. I'm here for you. I love sensitive men, said Carissa, leaning back on him and grasping his hand, lifting it. And now you've got great nails too. Yeah, thanks to you, teased Craig as she softly kissed his hand and bent her neck, looking up at him. Mommy! Screamed Kaylee, destroying the moment as Carissa jumped up. They ran into Kaylee's room as Carissa froze, covering her mouth for a moment, then quickly grabbed the hot iron from Kaylee's hand. She could see the scared look on Kaylee's face and the stunned look on Taylor's, as he looked up seeing some of his hair wrapped around the barrel of the curling iron and no longer attached to his head. What were you thinking, girls? Yelled Carissa, looking at it and then realizing she had scared them even further as she checked Taylor for burns. Okay, everyone relax, it'll be fine. No biggie, girls. No problem, I'll handle it. Craig, bring them to the kitchen. Carissa held her heart for a moment before she turned her back and pulled the plug on the hot curling iron. She ran into the bathroom, opening the clamp before tossing it in the sink, and then ran into the kitchen back to the girls. She ran back to Taylor, smothering him with kisses, and then lifted his chin, touching his forehead. Let me call Virginia. She lives next door and I'm sure she can fix it, said Carissa, grabbing the phone. Within 5 minutes, her neighbor was over as she was hugging and kissing the girls, keeping them occupied. Aren't you two looking adorable? Sit here, honey, and we'll fix you right up, said Virginia, wrapping her cape around Taylor's neck. It's nothing. I burnt off a customer's hair once too and am a pro. It happens. She knows better now, said Carissa, rubbing Kaylee's back. Right, honey? I just wanted her to have pretty curls like you, Mommy, said Kaylee, sobbing. She will, honey. We can do that some other time, said Virginia, wetting Taylor's hair with a spray bottle, combing through it. Just not tonight, though. Tonight, let's just fix our little ops because it's pretty late and save the curls for some other day. I promise I'll curl it up all nice and pretty on both of you. Just promise Mommy you won't use my curling iron without permission ever again, okay, girls? Carissa lectured them. This is not a toy, girls. Yes, Mommy, said Kaylee, watching her work on Taylor. And never at the maximum temperature either, honey. Fine hair like hers will take a curl pretty quickly, even at a much lower setting, said Virginia, brushing through the front of Taylor's hair and looking over at Craig and Carissa. Not a lot of options, Carissa. I'll keep them blunt and I'm going to get rid of all the mismatched lengths and split ends while I'm here. She really needs a good haircut. Obviously it's been too long anyway. Carissa looked at Craig, who was little help shrugging his shoulders, and then nodded her head at Virginia. She dampened the rest of his head now with her spray bottle and ruggedly brushed through his hair, removing any sweaty tangles from the helmet and earlier braiding. It didn't take long until his left eye was completely covered by his hair, but on the right there was a big gap from a section burnt off. She combed feverishly down his forehead and then quickly across his brow line, as suddenly his line of sight was crystal clear. He looked down, feeling the urge to pee as he squeezed his legs together holding it, seeing the long strand slide towards the floor as she began snipping at the left and then the right. He could see his brother looking dumbfounded as this all happened so quickly when she was already switching on her hairdryer and working through the damp hair with her brush. Finally she reached around him, grasping a small flat iron when the dryer went off and began gliding it through his locks as he heard them baking each time she squeezed and moved smoothly downward. How adorable she looks, commented Carissa. Right, Kaylee? She's so pretty, said Kaylee as Virginia was spraying his hair now. I want that too, please. Kaylee, you sure about that? Said Carissa, as some final little precision trimmings were being done. You've got a lot more length than Taylor, and remember how long it took when you wanted to grow out the front. Plus, Virginia is just here doing me a favor. Mom, please, whined Kaylee. I'm sure, and Taylor and I will grow it all out together. I think that's so sweet, honey, said Virginia. It'd be so cute on her. Okay, said Carissa, shrugging her shoulders as Kaylee exchanged place with Taylor as Virginia pulled off his cape. He looked down, flabbergasted at all the trimmings, which didn't seem so bad except for a few long strands as Carissa immediately hugged and kissed him as she seated him next to her. He reached up, feeling the ends and pulling some of it forward to get a better look as Carissa pushed his hands away. Don't mess it up, sweetie, said Carissa. It'll just take some getting used to, but the cut is so cute on you and makes for a perfect everyday do. Come on, I'll show you and don't worry, we'll dress it up with some bows and frills depending on your outfit that day. Carissa took him by the hand away from the table and into the next room, as it was even more stunning than he thought at seeing his reflection. He didn't lose that much length, but he could never remember his hair hanging so perfectly about 2 inches above shoulders at any time, even while it was growing. He was now the proud owner of a pin-straight shoulder-length bob haircut, which had a simple middle part and blunt straight bangs. It was almost a long page boy type look, as his dark hair had an incredible shine as Carissa dropped a headband behind his bangs, pulling the length back behind his ears. "See how cute this looks as an example," said Carissa, before pulling it off and smoothing the bob. "You can do headbands and it shows off your pretty new earrings, or I can pull back the crown. As well, it's still long enough that I can do some of those braids you love and plenty more." "I have bangs," stuttered Taylor, pulling at them and beginning to sob. "How long will this take to grow? I can't have. I look so. Sweetie, I know this was not planned, but you look adorable." Carissa rubbed his back and squeezed him. "When you're older, you can grow them out again, but right now you look so precious, so there's no rush. Come on, let's go see how Kaylee is doing." Carissa hugged him again and loved smothering him in kisses as she led him back to Kaylee. He almost couldn't believe his eyes, seeing her now in the same cut as she looked so different. There was a lot more of her hair on the floor now, as she had lost a good 8 or 10 inches of length as Virginia was finishing up. He had to be dreaming, he thought, seeing her smiling when the cape came off as she immediately hugged him, and Carissa snapped a few pictures of them side by side as Virginia hugged them good night and left. "Mommy," whispered Kaylee in Carissa's ear, going on and on. "Oh, if Craig says it's okay, honey," said Carissa, looking over at him. "That's a wonderful idea. Why don't you ask him?" "You ask him," Kaylee shyly told her mother. "Okay, silly," said Carissa, looking over at Craig and winking. "So Kaylee would like to know if Taylor could sleep over tonight? I thought that might be a good idea, seeing as how exhausted they both are after all their fun, and then their little mishap. What do you say, Craig?" He looked over at Taylor, who had little fight left in him, looking wiped out, and then Carissa, with her hands folded and batting her lashes at him. "Sounds great," said Craig. "Good, I'll get Taylor one of Kaylee's nightgowns, and while I get the girls settled in, why don't you open a bottle of wine? It'll be nice to have a little adult time," said Carissa, taking them by the hands. Carissa dug through Kaylee's drawers and handed Taylor a nightgown, almost happy to take it and let the day end. He went into the bathroom, looking at the pink and yellow silk shirt, stripping and pulling it over his head as he almost didn't care anymore, he was so tired. He sat on the toilet, bending his trapped little soft shaft, relieving a little tinkle as he felt ready to cry when he looked down at his panties sitting on the floor across his painted toes. He glanced to his left, feeling ill as he shook his head, watching his bob sway gracefully and almost crying at the sight in the mirror. He stood watching the nightgown almost hit the floor and reached down, pulling his panties back up. How could this have gone so far, he thought as he exited the bathroom, and Carissa greeted him with a big kiss goodnight, and he climbed into the white poster bed next to Kaylee. As the light switched off, Kaylee began talking and giggling, but he barely said a word as it had never felt better to pass out asleep,